Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a feeding update. This feeding update is from our last visit to the GI doctor back in August. I've been such a bad YouTuber keeping up with all of the updates, but it's been really busy over here with 2 kids. But anyways, so the last time that we visited the GI doctor was August 22nd, and that was now about 2 months ago. When we went in, Cadence weighed 27 pounds. They expected her to have gained a little bit more weight. Her chart kind of stagnated. So typically what you want to see every time we go in every 3 months is her weight constantly kind of going up the slope this way. When we went in on the 22nd, she kind of plateaued. She was 27 pounds when we went in back in May. And so she should have at least gained like a pound or 2 when we went in August. So they weren't very happy about that. They asked us to increase her feeds because at the time she was getting between 900 and 1,000 calories. And they asked us to increase it to 1,050 to 1,100 calories to try to see if we can get her weight up gradually. So that by her next appointment, which is November 25th, she would have gained some more weight. So that's what they're really looking for when we go to these GI appointments. This was our second time going to the Fontana appointment center for Kaiser. And what they do in Fontana is they have, it's called like a consult. And so they have your GI doctor, and then they also have a nutritionist who sits in on the appointments. And the appointments are an hour long because you're seeing 2 doctors. Again, you're seeing the GI doctor, and then you also see a nutritionist who helps you balance between eating oral foods and also the tube feeds. So it's a really thin line when you're trying to wean a child or anybody off of the gtube, because you need to make sure that you're getting the nutrients that you need, but also that you are still hungry enough to want to eat foods orally to give you that stimulation and the connection saying like, hey, I'm hungry, I want to eat. And so with the nutritionist, she offered us different types of tube feeds. So originally Cadence was on breast milk. I exclusively pumped for a whole year. When she turned 1, we switched over to Alcare for the formula because she had a sensitivity to dairy and soy. After the Alcare, we switched over to Nutrin Junior, and so she's been on Nutrin Junior for the past like 8 months. When I spoke with the nutritionist, I asked her about real food blends because I've heard that they're a lot better for the nutrition in the long run. They're completely natural. If you look at the ingredients, it's all natural ingredients, and they make 6 different meals. So it's like eggs and oats, meat and potatoes, turkey, gravy, and carrots, things like that. And so there's 6 different packages, and nothing, it doesn't have any types of like added sugars, preservatives, anything like that. So I asked my nutritionist about that because when we were in Hollywood, I had asked the GI doctor if we could try a real food blends because I knew that the Nutrin Junior, 90% of the calories in it turns into a form of sugar. And so that's not good for the kids in the long run. That's not something that I feel comfortable having her on for long term. And so when I was in Hollywood with our old GI doctor, he really pushed the formula because it was more convenient and easy, and so he didn't really want to put her on real food blends. So now that I had the opportunity to speak with the nutritionist, she was like all about it. We were able to try 7 packages of the real food blends just like as a trial period. So we did like a little transition for Cadence. She did really well on them, and so after we were done with our 7-day trial, I went ahead and I emailed our GI doctor and we switched her from the Nutrin Junior to the real food blends. So she's been on the real food blends consistently for about a week, and she's doing really good on them. So we were doing 4 feeds per day with the Nutrin Junior. She was getting about 1,050 calories. And we were also doing the little puree packets that you get like for 6-month-olds when they're like first transitioning from bottle to like eating orally. And so they're just like the little purees. And so with the real food blends, we do 3 of them a day. We do 3 different packets. We add 1/3 cup of milk to each of the feeds. We also do a multivitamin. We have to include 1/4 teaspoon of salt with the real food blends, and that's just 1/4 teaspoon over the whole day. And then we also need to make sure that she has 16 ounces of water every day. And so it's a little bit more care than it was with the Nutrient Junior, but it's totally worth it. Like, she always had a issue with constipation, and I've noticed since she's been on the real food blend, everything flows a lot smoother. I like that there's no like preservatives, there's no added sugars or anything like that. And she seems to, whenever she starts to eat the real food blends, she seems to do so much better eating orally. And so what the goal is for us when we see, by the time that we see the nutritionist and the GI doctor on November 25th, is I'm trying to get her to where she eats 1 puree packet twice a day. So right now she's doing 1 puree packet once a day, and she'll do 2 ounces in the morning and then 2 ounces in the afternoon. So slowly but surely we're getting her to increase it. So I'm hoping that by next week she'll be doing 3 ounces in the morning and then 3 ounces in the evening. But it's really up to her. But she seems to be really receptive to the purees, and she's eating them faster than she has in the past. For a typical child, if you have 1 puree package, it's 4 ounces, and they can finish that within 5 to 10 minutes. For Cadence, she eats 2 ounces consistently, and it takes her about a half an hour to finish those 2 ounces. And so you can see she still needs a lot of practice, but she's made huge progress in the sense of the volume that she's eating and the time that it takes her. When we first started working with our new OT back in May, it was taking her an hour. So that whole session, she would only eat maybe 1 ounce, 2 at the very most, but it would take an hour. And so now she's not only doubled her volume that she intakes, but she also shortened the time like by half. So instead of taking a whole hour, it only takes her half an hour. And she does that consistently every morning. And now we're starting to do that 2 ounces for a half an hour consistently in the evenings as well. Our next appointment, as I've mentioned a million times already, is November 25th. I've weighed her at home. I keep track of her weight at home, and she's about 29 pounds on my scale. So I'm hoping it's the same thing. I'm hoping that it's true and that she's gained 2 pounds since August 22nd, since that appointment, because that'll make the doctors really happy, and that will also help us possibly, I mean, me and the OT were talking about this the other day, and this is the first time that we've ever heard anything like this, but it would possibly have us lower the amount of the tube that we're giving her via tube feed and higher the amount that we're giving her orally. So it's going to be very small increments, but to know that she's going to, maybe we can like do less of a tube feed and then more of the oral to see if that will help. That's the direction that we're trying to go. Overall, doing well now. They were just concerned about her weight. That was like the major thing, is just being concerned about her weight. So we'll see what happens on our next appointment. I won't be so MIA. It's just been, again, really hard. It's been a struggle trying to find my groove with 2 kids. And so I'm going to try to start making more time to do these YouTube updates, because I feel like they're important for people who are going through the same kind of situation that we were going through. So I want to make sure that I stay up to date with this, because I want to help other families going through the same thing, even if it's just sharing my experience. I feel like that was enough when I was first starting off in this journey. All I wanted to know was how other people's lives changed or how they stayed the same. And so I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what we go through on our daily lives, what we go through when we have our 3-month checkups, how we're doing with our feeding therapy, and so that it gives you guys an idea of what you can expect if you're going through a similar journey like us. So thank you guys for being patient with me, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.